Katie?
How are you?
I'm not dead. I can't hear you pretty good. Let me turn off the heater. Uh, actually, I'll just turn off the whole vehicle. You had asked about the people in that group, the one that you started, Kara Johnson. She's the lady who she's friends with Miss Shelley. They were both playing head games with me. See, Kara Johnson, I didn't know that she was typing all that stuff. See, just like with Layla Johnson and Karamia, where Karamia wouldn't be friends with me if I was friends with Layla, and Layla wouldn't be friends with me if I was friends with Kara. I didn't want to be friends with Kara by that point, and I really wasn't comfortable with Layla by that point. Because both of them had evidence, and I had to choose which set of evidence was more important. And I chose not to do either one, so both of them blocked me. As far as Kara Johnson goes, Shannon Alvarado, after all of this shit went down, that day that I went to court, Joseph Lopez's court, the only court date that I got to go to of his, when Ted was screaming that I was a child molester and shit like that. Yeah, Shelly got a hold of her to tell her that, well, I actually sent all those screenshots to you. I sent probably 2,000 to 3,000 of them to you. But she was telling me that Miss Shelley let her know that it was a rough day in court and stuff like that. That literally Shelley pulled the wool over my eyes. I couldn't get the police to listen, so I had to trust somebody. Both Kara Johnson, well, all right, Kara Johnson, knowing that she was one of the biggest bullies in the first group that you started, seeing how bad it was in the group that you gave me, that's pretty fucked up. But she was pretending to be an autism advocate, a longtime friend of Miss Shelley's. She said that she started a group called Natalie's Angels, and I don't fucking know. I know that I'm pretty sure that she's Kara Miles, who is the one who said that she was um, on my paperwork for court in Arapahoe County. She claims that I had threatened her life and threatened the Bollinger's life. I literally didn't threaten to kill a single Bollinger, not even one. I threatened to kill the people. I did threaten to kill people. I threatened to kill the people who threatened to kill my friends, threatened to kill my family, and threatened to kill me. Kara Johnson is basically Miss Shelley's Dalton Crawford. Dalton Crawford is the guy who gave Alicia a ride from Virginia. He's also one of the ones who is threatening my life over them. Well, there's a lot of them. So that lady who organized that hostile takeover, two of those names are familiar. Kara Johnson and I don't remember the other one at the moment. Angie something or other.
Angela Bruce.
Yeah, you said they were pretty big bullies, right?
Right, so what had happened was when I had started my own group, because I had gotten banned from every group that I joined, because, I mean, honestly, I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. And I saw on CNN News that Natalie went missing and that the number one suspect was you. And it had a screenshot of your picture, and it had a screenshot of, Natalie's post saying whatever it said about how, 19-year-old goes missing after she posted this, public warning announcement to the public, whatever. And so
there was a public announcement about it?
Yeah, when I started my group, those 4 individuals reached out to me and said, hey, we want to be admin in your group. And I'm like, all right, cool, yeah. I mean, I don't know much about this case. and they're all just like trust us, you know everything. And so it turns out, like, you know, I started my first group, and they all just turned their backs on Rachel and myself, and were totally cool at first, and then after, like, I don't know, 48 hours, they went in and deleted everything, and totally were just bullies. And, like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I know you
So they
said that
destroyed
you were losing
evidence.
hope in me writing a written report about it. And I'm sorry, like, I do apologize for that. I am, like, a really, really, really busy person. But I will say that, like, those people that I encountered with during the time of my, you know, making this Facebook group were definitely, like, people that I've never witnessed or don't even want in my life anymore. You know, they were just bullies. Like, I don't know, dude. I can't even explain it. And that's why I think that it's taking me so long to really write up, like, a full report. And when you said you'll keep taking screenshots of what I said, I'm like, if that's what it takes, that's what it takes. But, like, I don't know, man. I'm not, like, I see your posts on Facebook, and I see, like, that so many people have, like, dogged you or, like, have doubted you and have been against you. But I'm with you, Sean, and I don't know, like, I'm not, like, one of those people, but at the same time, I just don't know how to, like, really express everything that, I encountered and was a part of, in terms of, like, trying to defend your position in this whole case. You know, and I apologize for that, but I do want to do whatever I can do to help.
Well,
you know,
there's a lot of different police agencies that need those reports. And although they probably won't look at them, there's zero chance that they'll look at them if nobody sends any in. If I send them in, they just ignore them. A lot of people tried to send stuff to different news agencies, and they got blackballed entirely. A lot of the people who were originally pretending to be friends of mine, people like Karamia and Kara Johnson and people like that, these people are fucking crazy.
Dude, and that's like an understatement, and I think that that's the biggest thing that, like, why I'm not siding with you, but, like, why I, like, feel, because you're like a person, you're living this life, we're all living this fucking life, and I feel you, and I entirely see where you're coming from with everything that you say, and I want to help you, and I want to be as much help as I possibly can, and I'm sorry that I haven't been. You know what I mean? I'm not like some troll that just troll along with anything. It's like when it comes down to life and, like, what actually happened, at the end of the day, it's like, Sean got fucked. These people that don't even know anything about anything are getting away with being bullies, which is sad. You know what I mean?
The bully part wasn't the worst part for me.
Lives.
See,
those... And, like, I don't know, man. I just feel like I just don't even know the words to really kind of put in perspective to my whole analogy and, like, how I feel about the situation. Because I do, you know, from the first time that I talked to you, I reached out to you because I knew that you were not, you know, the person that everybody wanted to make you seem, and everybody seemed, or wanted to make me seem like I was a bully too. It's like, guys, I don't even know Natalie. I was just following this case, like, you know what I mean? Like, and you knew Natalie, and that's the hardest thing about it, is that, like, you had connections with her, and you had, you know, her family. And it's just, like, so hard, and that's why, like, I'm struggling to, like, make an actual, like, you know, 2-page report about what I encountered during my, you know, following of Natalie's abduction, and then, or not abduction, but you know what I mean? Like, her whole murder and all of that, because I followed it from, like, day one. And I don't know, I just don't want you to think that I'm another troll that just is fucking with you and is trying to make you think that I'm trying to support you for no other reason but, like, self-satisfaction. You know, because I'm not. I truly, like, have, like, you know, your back, man. And, like, that's what I just, that's why I'm glad you asked me to call you, because I do want to say that, and, you know, it needs to be spoken. And I do have a lot of respect for you.
I didn't want to say those mean things. I didn't want to say any of those mean things. You know, Dalton Crawford, the guy who was threatening me, Alicia knew that he was doing that. He was doing that literally while he was driving with her. I went back and looked at the time frame of that shit. It's just a lot of information, and getting the cops to listen to me is impossible, which is why I needed other people to come forward. They wrote down on my court paperwork, Amanda Jonas, that nobody was going to come forward for me, probably because of the way that I was acting, or probably because of the way that I act. Well, that's the thing, is that I was that way because I had begged for help for an entire year before Natalie died. I had gone to the police in Chapel, Nebraska on multiple occasions. I had flagged them down in the middle of the street. You know, I mean, these people wouldn't stop threatening me, and every time that I went to Boulder, Colorado, or planned a trip to Boulder, Colorado, I tried again to get a hold of somebody to help make it stop. You know, like at first, I didn't get a hold of the police. I got a hold of the source. You know, adults need to work it out like adults. That means talking it out like adults. If somebody is telling you, hey, I am being assaulted for things that I didn't do to you, then yeah, it's pretty important for you to come forward and ask your friends to stop. And the thing is, literally, the only person that I could have raped in Virginia is Alicia. She is literally the only one. I didn't get to hang out one-on-one with Natalie. And she asked me so many times, Sean, can we just have a talk, you and me? Can we just have a conversation? I'm like, yes, we have plenty of time, but we didn't. And the thing is, I needed people to make those statements way back in January. And that's not you. You know, that's people like Miss Peaches needed to write a statement, you know, about the harassment and the threats. And, you know, that was when I went to Miss Peach's house, that was literally the fourth time that I had gone to her house about that issue to try to talk to her about it. The other three times, she was not able to make the time. So she was able to make the time to play video games with her husband, or, well, her children's dad, but basically husband, you know. And that's a lot of stuff where, you know, three of those times I was at her house for 4 days. I bought food, I bought groceries, I helped to, you know, pay for cigarettes. I mean, I did my best to contribute, to try to show that I'm contributing. I'm not just sitting here trying to mooch, I'm trying to get her help. And she didn't get that until after Natalie was dead. You know, the fourth time that I went there to try to get help about Natalie was on the 26th of December 2017. And she's not the only person I was trying to get help from. There was a lady named Joanna Taylor I was trying to get help from. She was going to try to set it up so that I could sit down with her and have coffee. And the thing is that she was doing the texting thing, and I can't answer fast enough, and people reinterpret what I type however the hell they want. It doesn't matter how I mean it. They literally twist it as far out of shape as they can. And it got to the point that a lot of people who said that they were going to help me ended up just looking for any excuse that they could to just ditch me. There's a guy named David Prowell and his daughter Betsy Prowell. Like, they finally, after fucking 6 months of ignoring me, because Betsy got assaulted the same way that I did by the Border Police Department. But she's a girl, so they were a lot nicer to her. Plus, she had family in her corner and they bailed her out. Me, I didn't have anybody. So I spent 6 months trying to get her to, you know, talk to me about it, and she's telling me, you know, that she's my friend and this, that, and the other, and then she ignored me for 6 months. So, like, as far as her ignoring me, I was like, you know what, if she's not going to help, she's not going to help. I'm done trying to beg for help from people who said they were going to help who aren't actually going to help. And she sent me a little pretty bullshit fucking thingy, and I was like, yeah, but see, you're probably not going to answer for another 6 months. I mean, literally, when she typed to me the one time before that, she typed to me, I responded immediately, and she ignored me for 6 months. And then 6 months later, she was like, me and my dad and Frankie, we love you so much, you know. And then literally 45 minutes later, they're both fucking trash talking me. Instead of talking to me, they're texting me. Everybody does that texting thing. Everybody. Every single one of them, from Lana Engeline and Amanda Engeline to Natalie Bollinger, to Alicia Bollinger. I mean, it was so fucked up, you know? And it's all over a goddamn telephone and them fighting over some fucking boy in Virginia. And I really worry that, like, I wouldn't, you know, I'm not a real physically attractive dude, you know? I'm not drop dead gorgeous. And, you know, I used to have a straight smile, but I didn't have the money for a dentist, so I ended up losing all my teeth. And Natalie, she kept bouncing back and forth between, she thought she was in love with me, but then, you know, she realized she wasn't. And then she still feels like she might be in love with me. And then, you know, and I'm like, Natalie, just let's focus on, you know, important stuff. I mean, I went through that wishy-washy stuff with Jamie, and I just wasn't interested in somebody who was on drugs, and I'm not interested in somebody who's drunk. And that's why me and Jamie never hooked up, is because she wanted to do meth and have sex with every one of my bullies, and she wanted to get drunk all the time and have sex with every one of my bullies. And I was like, you know, don't pretend that you care if you're going to do that. But
Right, yeah.
so I worry that I'm the dude that they were fighting over in Virginia, and that's why Alicia was so overly protective of my time. Like, she didn't want Natalie to be alone with me, you know, like, when she had to go get her purse in her car, she fucking booked it. You know, she wanted to get back as soon as she could. But the thing is that I got to hang out with Alicia almost every single day that I was in Virginia because she worked at the cricket store. And that's the thing. Like, Natalie, all the stuff that she typed on that protection order that the police stole, by the way, they stole a lot of evidence. They destroyed a lot of evidence too, and they refused to take a report against anybody, because if they were to take a report, they would have to take the evidence, and if they took the evidence, well, then they would have to press charges. You know, just because Natalie died doesn't make what she did okay.
Right, no, definitely. I 100% agree with everything you're saying. You know, and like that's the biggest thing is like I think that yeah, write a book. Or like I think you do a good job of like blogging in the groups on your page. So like compile everything, man. Like you have so many good points and like from what I read and what I see and even communicating with you, I think we've talked about that like twice. You're a really intelligent man. You know, and like I think this goes a long way because I don't know. I think that you're smart and the words you use and the way that you present your, you know, defense, which you shouldn't even have to do. I think you're a smart guy, and I think that you're intelligent, and I think that you shouldn't be having to deal with everything that you're dealing with. And I just want to make that clear to you. You know.
Well, it needs to be made a point that these people were psychologically fucking with me, and that the police were turning a blind eye. And although you weren't there to see the police turning a blind eye, you know what was said about me that made them so that they had that opinion. You got to see the same news stuff as they did.
Right. No, I entirely agree, and I know that CNN just fucking threw your picture out there as the main suspect when Natalie went missing, and Natalie posted that public warning announcement or whatever she did. Yeah, I mean, the public totally bashed your whole image.
Yep.
And I think that, yeah, I agree with everything that you say. And I read your post, man, and I read everything that you post. Not everything, because sometimes it gets a little long.
I do put a lot of stuff up, too.
Yeah, I do watch your videos. I get where you're coming from. I see your point of view. And that's why, like, I did want to touch base with you. When you know, sent me that message earlier today and said that, like, you were losing hope in me or whatever. Like, don't lose hope in me.
I'm
Like,
losing hope in everyone.
Like, I'm just super busy. But I do want to help you as much as I possibly can. I will write whatever you want in terms of what I've experienced through the whole thing. But I'm, like, done with all those bullies. I'm done with the trolls. Like, I'm done with... It was the most ridiculous ever. Like, dude, those
I'm
people
glad you
are
get to be done with it.
crazy. They
You're right.
attack you. Like, I don't know. I just can't even, like, put it in words, like, how bad the whole thing was. You know what I mean? And, like, it's not me, like, being a fake person or being, like, a troll or being, like, anything that I'm a good person. Let me just tell you that. Like, I have a good family, and, like, I mean, well, you know what I mean? Like, and I don't know. I just think that I just want to say what's right when I do write, you know, the statement for you. And I know I wrote that simple one for you, but I don't know. It's hard, and I'm sure it's hard for you too. It's got to be a bitch, you know, and like.
I haven't been able to see my friends or family in Boulder for over 2 years without being threatened, assaulted, or charged with crimes that I didn't commit. I did light Ken and Leah's truck on fire. Well, I lit the road next to their truck on fire. But I did it to try to force the police to take a report. The reason that I picked Ken and Leah is because it was by chance that I ran into Federal, and I was like, I can find Ken and Leah's from here. And on the way there, I decided, you know what?
Fuck it. Yeah.
That's right. I was like, you know what? If the only way to get the police to actually take a report is to break the law, then God damn it, I will break the law, because all of these people are breaking the law and the police are turning a blind eye. And yeah, not one of my public pretenders was willing to do their job. But the most fucked up part, apparently, now I found this out well after my grandmother's funeral. I found out in June, I believe, maybe July, that my mom had called Detective Peterson. Apparently, she tried to convince Detective Peterson that I was schizophrenic and that I probably killed Natalie. And Detective Peterson told her that I didn't. My mom didn't bother to tell me that. She called up my dad immediately and told my dad that Detective Peterson said that I didn't kill her. But you know what? They didn't release that on the news. They absolutely refused to release that on the news. And I was assaulted for 30 days by police, by the public, by everybody, because Adams County would not release that information. Meanwhile, I've got people telling me, well, Ted Bollinger says that you didn't kill him, you know? And I'm like, no, that is not what Ted said. You need to show me where he said that. These people were willing to tell me, but they weren't able to show me screenshots. And then there was Gabriel, that's Natalie's little brother, on YouTube. Like, they went out of their way to destroy my YouTube. And the thing is that when I called Detective Peterson, you know, I was like, dude, seriously, why the fuck didn't you guys tell the public that I didn't fucking kill her? You know, he said, oh, well, we did. We made a press release about it when we caught Joseph Lopez. Yeah, but he told my mother, like, 3 days after fucking Natalie went missing, that I didn't do it.
Right.
So why couldn't he release that information? And why couldn't my mother talk to me like a person? Why did she have to be as shitty as she was? Now, both my mother and my father are afraid of me, and they should be. Now, my dad...
And I saw your post where you said it's better to have no parents or abusive parents, you know. And that kind of like hits close to home, because I don't have parents. You know, I'm 30 years old, and both my parents have passed away. So it's kind of like, and I read your post, and a lot of thoughts went through my head. It's like, would I rather have no parents or abusive parents? And I get it. Like, my parents were never abusive, but I don't have them any longer. So it, like, brought me to a whole new, like, perspective on things. It's like, yeah, I get where you're coming from. I would never, my parents were never, like, verbally abusive, physically abusive, anything like that. But it's kind of like, I wouldn't want parents if they were to be abusive, you know?
All of these people, you know what they're afraid of? They're not afraid that I'll hurt them. They never were afraid that I would hurt them. My dad was afraid that I would tell people about him going to prison for cocaine. My mother was afraid that I would expose her for her cocaine use. All of these people were afraid of my voice.